Hey guys, so this week I read The Strange Tale with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I'm not quite sure what I think of it right now, because I finished it like 5 minutes ago, and I enjoyed the story, and obviously you know the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and if you don't, have you been living under a rock? Because it's Jekyll and Hyde. If you haven't heard of this, you've been living under a rock. And I read part of this for part of my A-level years ago now, and I've always meant to finish it. And I enjoyed it then, but now, after finishing it, I'm not sure if that makes sense. And it's not just because of the writing, because the writing is very Victorian, because it was written in the Victorian time, so it's quite wordy. And generally the author just uses the word said the entire way through, which is one of my really big pet hates. But I don't know, I just thought there'd be more of it, I guess, and there'd be more sort of murder and explanation and stuff, and there wasn't really that much of it, and there wasn't really that much of Jekyll and Hyde in it, because it's not written from their point of view. It's written from Mr. Utterson's point of view, who is a lawyer who's a friend of Jekyll, and this sort of follows his story as he unravels the mystery of what's been going on, and it's sort of told through a few letters and stuff like that from friends and from Jekyll at the end, explaining it all, and it sort of goes through sort of how Utterson discovers all of this, and the whole story is basically just about Utterson figuring it all out, or not figuring it out in the end. It's just sort of, he just gets given a letter which explains it all, and I don't know, it just sort of didn't really sort of scare me at all, or really sort of keep me occupied, because I always, in all of my preconceptions about this, figured that there was a whole ton of murder in this, and it was just going to be murder, death and mayhem, which is something that I really, really enjoy, because I'm a bit weird. But it's always like, I always expected a lot of death and a lot of murder and a lot of crime and all the rest of it, because Hyde is supposed to be evil and he's supposed to do that. But there was only really two? No, there was only one murder and one other death. Well, technically 3 deaths, but only one was really described, and the other one just sort of, it was sort of just there, and you don't actually figure out how it happened and all the rest of it. So it was kind of, what I got was not what I was expecting, basically, and I was expecting a lot more sort of mayhem and a lot more detail to do with Jekyll, why he did what he did, and a lot more of Hyde. I was expecting a lot more of Hyde, actually, because when I was at school I only read up to chapter 3, I think, after the first murder, and because this is quite a big thick book, I was expecting a hell of a lot more of a story to it, a hell of a lot more murder and a lot more chasing after Hyde. But it turns out that this book actually has several other short stories in it, and Jekyll and Hyde finishes about here, I think, and most of this bit's introduction. So it was a very, very short story without much sort of detail and without much sort of storyline to it. Like, there is a storyline and you do follow it, but it wasn't what I was expecting, which I think is the main thing. It wasn't what I was expecting, and there wasn't enough detail for me, basically. There was not enough detail, because sure, this is wordy as hell because it's Victorian, and Victorians were always ridiculously wordy in their books, but it's not giving me the right detail that I want. It's not giving me the storyline plots that I want. It was giving me more detail about how everybody looked and stuff, which is interesting, but it's not what I wanted. And generally this book really wasn't quite what I wanted, and I'm slightly let down by it, to be honest, because while I enjoyed the mystery of unravelling exactly what was going on with Jekyll and Hyde, it was not what I was expecting, and it wasn't the kind of thing that I was looking for at the time. I was looking for a good little scary story about a mad scientist and his evil alter ego, and while I kind of got that, I didn't get the detail that I wanted, and I didn't get that many scenes with actual Jekyll and Hyde in it, because most of it is told without them in the story, which is a bit ridiculous, to be honest. And I wish they were more involved in this, and there was more scenes with them in, and more characters talking to them, and possibly scenes where it's from their point of view and they're running around either fighting each other, or Jekyll's coming up with his potion, or Hyde's running around killing people and stuff like this. And I wish that this book had been more about that, because that's the kind of thing that I was really interested in. And I'm slightly disappointed that I didn't get that. What I did get though was quite good, because the mystery was quite good and the way it was told was quite interesting. But I feel like it could have been told with a lot more detail and a lot more death and murder and mayhem and more detail just in general. It could have done with a lot more detail to do with the story and not the description of people, and that would have been really nice. But it's an alright story that kind of works quite well, but could have done a lot better in a lot of areas. For such a famous book, I was expecting a lot more from it, to be honest. So, slightly disappointed right now, and now I'm going to have to go and try and find another book that gives me that. If you've got any recommendations, please tell me down in the comments, because I'd love to see some, because I'd love to see more stories sort of like this, but with maybe slightly more modern writing, I think, because I like modern writing more than I like Victorian writing. I'm not good with really wordy stuff, but also with a lot more murder and all the rest of it. If you have any recommendations like that, please tell me down in the comments. And if you actually agree with me on this, please tell me as well down in the comments, because I feel like I can't just be the only one who's read this and gone, wait a minute, where's all the murder? I can't just be the only one who's felt like that. Can I? Really? If I am, please also tell me down in the comments, because I may be just being an idiot here, I don't know. But please tell me your opinions about this book as well down in the comments. And if you also want to see more of my videos, please click subscribe, that'd be awesome. But I think for now, I'm going to go and try and find another book that's kind of like this book better, I think. So until next time, guys, bye.